And I'm delighted that as part of our topical slot this year, we've got Claire Williams from BETA giving the initial findings from the National Equestrian Survey for 2019. Claire, over to you.
Good afternoon. Your Royal Highness, my lords, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be able to be here to share with you the initial findings from the BETA National Equestrian Survey 2019. We've been undertaking this type of work since 1995, as it is the only independently conducted survey of its size and shape in the equestrian industry. This really does enable us to spot trends and track changes over longer periods of time, putting them into a context of both the outside and internal influences to our industry. The survey is conducted in 3 phases, so today I will report on the first phase, the omnibus survey, which surveys the national population rather than horse riders and owners. This year it's been based on a survey of over 6,000 interviews, the largest we've ever done before, and the methodology has changed slightly in having to move, through no choice of our own, to online for the first time. There are 3 key areas I'm able to update you on today, but yet to come is the detailed survey on spending and expenditure, which is still in field work and will be reported on in April and May. So let's now look at some of the numbers we have. Firstly, a quick recap on what we found out in 2014, which was that it indicated a steady decline over 10 years of horse riding, which further put a focus for us, certainly, on the survey this time. Remembering the like-for-like nature of the survey methodology, which is key to tracking trends, this year we can see a stabilising of the riding population and potentially the start of a tentative recovery. It could be a recovery because whilst the numbers that have ridden in the last 12 months show some upturn, the more concise measure of regular riders, here in orange, which means they've been riding at least once a month, shows a more marked turnaround, up to 1.8 million from 1.3 million in 2014. In fact, back to levels seen between 2005 and 2010. And although not seen here, reflects a significant rise in regular riding amongst the 25 to 44-year-olds, an age bracket that shrunk considerably back in 2014. So there's good reason to be cautiously optimistic on the industry in terms of riding. As I said, what most of my members are really interested in, I have to say, the economic data is yet to come. Another key measure that's used as an indicator on the sector and its strength or weakness is the number of horse owners in Britain. 5 years ago, in terms of horse owning households, the trend was downward and had been for some time. In 2018, the number is still shrinking, although it has slowed down slightly. So knowing what we currently have in terms of riders and horse-owning households, what we need to now do is understand how many we've lost from our fold, and more importantly perhaps try to understand what caused them to stop riding and what the barriers is to them returning or even taking it up at the start. To illustrate the scale of the issue, think of this shape as all households in Great Britain, and it is Great Britain and we don't survey Northern Ireland. The yellow area then represents the number of households with people who've ridden in the last year, and this hasn't changed substantially since 2014. By comparison though, 1 in 5 households in the country have someone that has ridden at some stage, albeit not in the last 12 months, which means we have around 5 million lapsed households. But if we want to try and build those numbers up again and better understand the losses from our ranks, it's even more important than ever to understand what causes that lapsed behaviour. It will be no surprise that the financial factors still lead the way as the reason for giving up horses, more so though in previous years. Lost access and limited time, however, have dropped as a reason, which may cause some comfort. I'm also comforted as I get older that age is losing a footing as for the reason of giving up as well. But of equal significance is the understanding of what the barriers to returning or taking up might be. Think of this coloured shape as all lapsed rider households, that is about 5 million of them. The green area represents the portion who would like to ride again, giving us a warm market potential of 650,000 households. What prevents them from doing are multiple. Again, like lapsing, financial factors are key, albeit less so than in 2014. This time, sadly, it's lost access to facilities, which surprises none of us, or horses, or the lack of ability in their own area, which is a more challenging issue to address. So what does our landscape really look like? Imagine the screen represents all the households in Great Britain. This is how it breaks down in terms of the equestrian industry. We have a small but possibly growing active rider market, a healthy pool of warm leads to convert back to riding, with an identical number, interestingly enough, of potential new riders. I don't have any answers today, but I do have some more questions, because this really has to be seen alongside the wider landscape of the costs of riding, how our horses are kept and what we do with them. This will be revealed in April and May after crunching some more data and more numbers. So keep watching. My thanks go to all of you and the wider riding public who took the time to take part in our surveys, and we are still doing field work, so if somebody calls you, please take the time to do the survey with them. I'd also like to thank JDA, who are doing the research, this time for the 4th time, and also our thanks go to Sport England through the British Equestrian Federation for part funding of the study. Thank you very much.